So we are Ecotan. Our mission statement is we are a nonprofit and we want to work to improve, protect, and sustain the health of Tanzania's environment. Our vision is we want to reduce practices promoting environmental degradation in Tanzania within 5 years. Tanzania's location in East Africa and an immense diversity in landscape and terrain allows for copious amounts of rainfall. Tanzania is also rich in natural resources, a multitude of wildlife species, and forestry. Precarious environmental issues throughout the country include various degrees of water and air pollutants, degradation, deforestation, and a series of destructive entities plummeting wildlife diversity. International agreements under Tanzanian policy are inclusive of hazardous wastes, endangered species, desertification, biodiversity, and wetlands. The agricultural industry in Tanzania sustains economic profits and prosperous endeavors due to abundant rainfall. We found studies uncovered decreased rainfall causing the environment to become extremely vulnerable, and that means their agriculture is less fruitful and productive than before. Hydro reservoirs are fundamental to meeting electricity and agricultural needs. Even these are facing severe diminution and inefficiency. Agriculture contributes heavily to economic growth. The lack of rainfall is opening a gateway to innumerable inefficiencies surrounding food production and security. So, what is our first objective? Our first objective is to reduce air pollution in Tanzania. Cars are mostly low-efficiency models and traffic is extremely concentrated in cities. And pollution controls are also lacking compared to more developed countries. And the urbanization in Tanzania has led to a decrease in natural ventilation in cities. What are some of the effects of air pollution? Air pollution can lead to acid rain, which threatens the environment as well as agriculture. Solid pollutants from vehicles can also contaminate produce, possibly leading to a loss of biodiversity or general reduction in wildlife population. So what are some of our solutions? Dar es Salaam is currently building a bus rapid transit system along major roads, with one line currently operational. These routes could be utilized as bike lanes, which already occurs, albeit with increased risk due to the lack of formal lanes. Some of our funding could be provided to establish a formal bike share network that encourages increased use of the new bike lanes. In cities without an existing reserved area roadway, bike lanes could be laid out near the shoulder or in a central median if available. Some of our risks of our solution is that if bike traffic increases by enough, the lanes could become congested and defeat the purpose of a bus rapid transit system. If the bus service was increased, bikes could have very little opportunity to use the lanes. Bike share could also be avoided by the local community and only become used for tourists. And some ways to avoid this are that the bus lanes could be equipped with safety barriers inside of the lanes, which will allow bikes to proceed down the middle while buses pass on each side. These bike share facilities could also be integrated into local communities and offered for a free or reduced cost for impoverished people. Some of our indicators to know it's working is that by the end of the 5-year period, we will reach an average of 0.5 rides per bikes per day for the bike share stations, and by the end of the 5-year period, have a bike share station within a 10-minute walk of any location within Dar es Salaam. Our second environmental task we would like to tackle is water pollution. Many of the water in streams and rivers in Tanzania is becoming heavily polluted. Some of the causes of this are domestic waste, which one of the causes of the domestic waste is that only 15% of Dar es Salaam residents are connected to the sewer system, and this waste is discharged in the sea without being treated. And it is estimated that over 80% of households in the city use pit latrines and septic tanks, which frequently overflow. This in turn further contaminates water, and this results in high fecal and coliform levels in coastal waters. Some of the effects of this is that marine wildlife are threatened in water pollution, and eutrophication is a problem that is associated with the release of inorganic nutrients, and this has caused some of the decrease of coral reef building algae near Zanzibar. Some of our solutions are we could install at least primary waste treatment facilities in the major cities to facilitate initial waste treatment before discharge. We could install ecological toilets that do not use water for function, and promote the inactivation of microbial pathogens and excrement through high pH desiccation, heat, and time, and recycle nutrients from human excrement for agriculture to promote better crop production, home gardens, and ultimately improve nutrition. We could repair and build more oxidation ponds, which are large shallow ponds designed to treat wastewater through the interaction of sunlight, bacteria, and algae. Some of our risk is that the composting toilets must be managed, and this requires a set schedule of both adding and removing material for the composting unit to use. You must know the proper material to add to the unit so it functions correctly, and there is also the matter of the proper disposal of the composted material afterward. Some of our mitigations for that is properly training and hiring people to be in charge of managing the waste of these toilets, which would allow us to avoid this issue. And to know that it's working, we would be measuring pH, turbidity, and the temperature of water to ensure that the water is of quality. Our third objective is to tackle agriculture in Tanzania. Some of the problems with our agriculture in Tanzania are overgrazing, which is causing vegetation to disappear, which makes the ground more vulnerable to soil erosion. Tanzania is also prone to high amounts of rainfall, and heavy rainfall makes soil erosion more common. And farmers are currently investing too many cattle and goat as a source of revenue, passing some areas carrying capacities. Some of the effects of soil erosion are that it reduces cropland productivity and contributes to the pollution of adjacent watercourses, wetlands, and lakes. Soil erosion can also lead to air pollution because most of the air pollution that is caused is due to soil erosion. The soil particles carried in the air lead to dust, and the air might also contain chemicals from agricultural lands. Some of our solutions is that we can install buffer plants. Vegetation buffers are strips of land with permanent vegetation designed to intercept stormwater runoff and minimize soil erosion. Buffers can reduce the amount of sediment and pollutants carried in by runoff into nearby lakes, wetlands, or streams. Buffers also remove pollutants from runoff and stabilize streams by reducing erosion. Some of the risks is that certain buffer plants work better in different areas, so specific species are needed for a specific area. People may not also have the accessibility, availability, or knowledge of the specifics of plants needed for their intended areas. How we can avoid those risks are that we would choose the most diverse and multi-beneficial plants, provide education and training to farmers when implementing the solution, and provide plants to farmers through organizational fundings and grants. Some of our indicators of success is that the visible growth in healthy and big buffer plants, lower severity and occurrence of gullies around the country, and we will see visibly cleaner water with less soil erosion. So what are our timelines of implementation? For air pollution, within 5 years, we would like to allocate space in the bus lanes for bikes and open bike share stations within a 10-mile radius of anywhere in downtown Dar es Salaam. With water pollution, we would like to repair existing and build more oxidation ponds, start construction of primary waste facilities in major cities, and build more and monitor ecological toilets within 5 years. With agriculture, we would like to plant or distribute the proper buffer plants to farmers and plant them in a reasonable distance from water sources.